To rise in support of this third reading committee stages of the Animal Welfare Amendment Bill, and to commend Simon Bridges, the MP for Tauranga, for having the initiative to bring this bill forward. I note it emerged on New Year's Day this year. Very strategic timing of the MP to bring it forward at that point, and to acknowledge that this has been a past deficiency of members across the House, that this hasn't come forward, but to note that there have been members opposite critical of that fact who've been here in their second and third terms who might have picked up this issue as a private member's bill themselves some considerable time earlier. Labor, of course, does support this bill. We want to see the appropriate penalties for the repugnant practices that sometimes are perpetrated on both domestic and farm animals, and this bill goes a long way towards that. I do want to acknowledge that in the Primary Production Select Committee today, the Minister did say that New Zealand's clean green image is very important to New Zealand. It's really the base of our capacity to earn our living as an export nation. And I guess I wanted to remind him too that animal welfare issues are also one of the measures by which New Zealand will be judged in the international marketplace. And the judgment will always be harsher of us than other nations because we are a small nation. We don't have some of the clout of bigger nations, and the unfair nature of international trade is such that our record has to be better than most, if not all, in respect of things like our environment, in respect of things like our practices of animal welfare. And so therefore I wanted to ask the Minister, now that he's in the chair, just to outline for us what are the increases in the Ministry of Agriculture's budget in relation to the Farm Inspectorate, because I think it's acknowledged that some of the issues in respect of animal welfare do indeed occur on farms, and that the MAF Inspectorate, with I think 5 active inspectors from a total staff of about 7 or 8, is not sufficient when we are talking about protecting an export base reliant upon agriculture worth many, many billions of dollars. So I'd like to have the Minister take a call and indicate to us what exactly is the increase in that budget from MAF. Because while the focus of the bill will have been in response to issues of domestic cruelty, in fact underlying it are the broader issues of animal welfare on farms. And while most of our farmers are exemplary in the way they treat their stock, and they have every reason to do so, other than being genuinely humane New Zealanders, of course also the better the welfare of the animal, the better the return for the farmer. So it's one of those win-win outcomes. But we are all conscious, I think, of the situation that emerged on the Crayford farms through last year and into this year, definite issues that MAF had identified of farm neglect. And I note that as this bill was being adopted by the Minister as a government bill, we also had an animal welfare dairy cattle code of welfare being announced and unveiled after concerns expressed by quite an eminent agricultural scientist who took photographs of very skinny cows at a Morrinsville sale yards, and that prompted 2 animal welfare investigations and led to that code. It took 3 years for that code to come through. I think the Minister might confirm that. But as industry leaders like John Luxton, the chair of Dairy NZ, have noted, the new code is going to strengthen the industry's international reputation, and that's hugely important because, as I said, we will be judged by our animal welfare issues as much as we are by our environmental record, and that's beyond the scope of this bill today. Dr Dalton said in one of the stories that was reporting the Minister's announcement of this new code that the new code for animal welfare and dairy should be nailed to every farm gate and be on every milk tanker. So there could be no question to farmers that they have to take account of all the issues of stockmanship and husbandry of animals they have responsible to. So I'm very pleased to see that this bill comes through. It will, of course, be a tool in the toolkit for MAF in terms of their capacity to deal with animal welfare issues on farms when they do happen from time to time. Probably in most instances those are issues of recklessness, which is a new measure in this bill. Probably very, very few farmers would, with any kind of wanton regard, ill-treat their animals. But there are situations where farmers get stressed, farmers are unable to cope, stock are left in back paddocks, and obviously can suffer a great deal. So I am very keen to hear from the Minister in respect of the increased directorate.
I call the